Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at these three guns that I have Rite dyed, alright, and we're going to be looking at them 5 months later, alright, so it's been 5 months since I Rite dyed these guns. I did a video where I showed you guys how I colored these guns. Basically, I boiled some water, put some of this coloring dye into a pot, and basically just dunk the plastic. Okay, so it's been 5 months later, and a couple of you guys have asked me how well the Rite dye has held up, and I gotta tell you guys, I'm really impressed. I did not know how well it was gonna hold up, but the Rite dye has been holding up really well. Okay, so this was the uh, racing red, right? Um, this was on an FDE colored frame, and it came out basically kind of like burgundy, which I really like. Um, so here's the thing: these guns that you see here, all three of these guns, okay, these are not guns that just sit in a safe. These are guns that I use to train people, right? I travel around different ranges. So since I made these guns, it would be fair to say that hundreds of people have put their sweaty hands on these guns and used them, okay, on an almost daily basis, right? If not, like, let's say a couple times a week. Um, and you can see that it has held up really well. There's a little blackening over here, near the front, from the blast that comes out the front. I think the only place where I see maybe a little fading is right here along the edge, really tiny. And that's probably just from me throwing the gun on the table. So this corner over here, as I keep throwing the gun on the table, that's probably the point that makes contact. Um, so that's the only place where I see just a tiny little bit of fading, right on that edge there. Okay, where I can maybe see the FD starting to come through. And this one over here is a pink one that I made. Um, the color of this one was a synthetic super pink. Super pink. That's the color, the super pink. Now these things are like $7. I ordered these from Amazon, so the dye is pretty cheap. So this is what the synthetic pink turned out. So the same thing, like literally thousands of people have put their hands on these guns and shot these guns at different ranges that I travel to. These guns are really popular with women. They like the fancy colors. I have other guns that I have colored as well, but these three that I selected here, I selected them because they're just guns that get used a lot, and are constantly traveling and going to different ranges. I would say that each of these guns probably has at least 10,000 rounds on it at this point. Now, as far as the parts, most of the parts that are in these guns, originally they were like eBay parts, and then I think some of the parts I've upgraded to like some of the parts that you get from Optic Planet. I can tell you guys, definitely not like factory OEM. With factory OEM parts, I will, on my factory Glocks. I think that I did a video on this. I went 75,000 rounds on my Glock 17 before the trigger spring broke for the first time, and then after that it went like another 20,000 rounds, right? Before it broke again. Okay, so I can tell you guys that with the non-factory, non-Glock OEM parts, I'm definitely getting higher breakages. I've worn out the trigger bars. I've broken the trigger springs. All well under 10,000 rounds. Usually by 5,000 rounds, something starts wearing on. Just that's been my experience with non-factory OEM parts. They will wear faster, but hey, I'm using these. I'm training people. People like these guns. They like the colors of them. So they are, they're worth it for me. Women like seeing these colored guns, and it really kind of brings them over to our side. So this one over here, this one I kind of made by accident. This was originally supposed to be a blue gun, right? So again, all these guns started off as FDE colored, and I was looking for a like a dark blue color. So I was aware that, hey, if you boil if you boil it longer, it tends to get darker. So I said, you know what, let me start off with this like tropical teal color, right? That's what I started off with. Um, so I basically I boiled the water, put that tropical teal color in there, and what I ended up with was basically a green gun, right? If you look at this part right here in the middle, it ended up green because remember the blue does mix with the FDE a little bit. So it's not, you're not starting off with a white gun, you're starting off with an FDE colored gun. So in all cases you're gonna get a little bit of a mixture. So I ended up with this green that you see here in the middle, and I just really wasn't that impressed. So after I dunked the gun, after I let the gun sit there for a while, I probably let it sit there for 20 minutes, looking to see if it was gonna get darker, turn bluer. It didn't. So I took the gun out, and then I said, you know what? I took some of the, I think I took I took some red, and I think I even threw in a little bit of pink. So I threw that into the teal colored dye to mix it. And then what I did is, right, I dunked, let me take this apart. So what I did is then I took this part here and I just dunked it up until this point right here. So the bottom part over here. So you can see how it's got like a darker color down here. So that's basically the teal mixed with a little bit of the red and the pink. And then what I did is I flipped it over and I put it in again like this. So that this part over here, again, got a little bit of that reddish pink color. And it came out pretty cool. I was actually pleasantly surprised. And I ended up putting this FDE colored slide on it. These are all Brownell slides. And I really liked, it turned into like a camel, like a greenish camel color. And again, so this is a gun that has about 10,000 rounds on it at this point. Like literally thousands of people have shot this gun, and you can see that the color's holding up really well, a lot better than I expected. I thought that maybe it might have faded, but it didn't. Yeah, so these are my my dyed color, my polymer 80 dyed guns. So a couple of you guys have asked me on the original videos that I did how these guns are holding up color wise. Are they holding their color? And I'd say, yeah, they definitely are holding their color. They're definitely holding their color 5 months later. And again, like right now it's drizzling. I mean, these guns are typically out in the rain, out in the rain, out in the weather as I'm using them. People putting their sweaty hands on them. So yeah, I'm really pleasantly surprised that these guns held up. The color of these guns rather held up as well as it did. So anyway, I hope you guys found this video useful. What I'll do is I'll drop a link in the description below to the first video that I did where I'm dyeing these guns, so you guys can check that out if you have not seen it. If you guys got any questions, let me know. And I would appreciate the comments you drop. Your comments give me ideas for new videos, right? So part of the reason why I'm doing this video is because of the idea that you guys gave me, where you were asking me, hey, how has the color been holding up? And I thought that'd be a great idea to do an updated video. So hope you enjoyed it. If you're not a member of my channel, subscribe. Talk to you guys soon.